It's This Week in Comics. Hello everyone, it's Dustin Dry for This Week in Comics. We changed the channel name, it's This Week in Entertainment. A sister show will be coming soon. This week, we got some big number ones to get to. We're gonna check in on a bunch of the series that we already like. We got one anthology, we got a series wrap. Let's go. Transformers number 1, written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson with additional art by Mike Spicer. Alright guys, you might recognize Daniel Warren Johnson from his work on Vanish, Deadly Class, Jurassic League, Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. He's done covers of many others. The other artist is Mike Spicer, who has his own comic, The Schlub. He's worked a lot with Daniel Warren Johnson, especially on like Jurassic League, Do a Power Bomb, Stillwater. I know Spicer worked on Loki as well, so be sure to check out their work elsewhere. Transformer number 1 definitely kicks off with a bang, and I don't want to do too many spoilers here, but this is a true number 1. This is a reset of the Energon universe. The art is detailed, but it is sometimes hard to track. Now, I did like the human characters, but the Autobot Decepticon reset is so much expositional talk. For me, I would have preferred it if Transformers would have just dove straight into the story instead of trying to explain a bunch of things. Transformers number 1 is a 7 out of 10. Gods number 1, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Valerio Schiti and Marte Gracia. Now guys, you might know Jonathan Hickman from your favorite runs on Future Foundation, Fantastic Four, The Avengers. He single-handedly saved the X-Men line. He created the Ultimate Universe, did East of West. He did so many quality books that you definitely should check it out just with his name on it. Valerio Schiti is known for their work on Guardians of the Galaxy, Empire, Journey into Mystery, a ton more, especially covers. And Marte Gracia is known for their work on Wolverine, X-Men, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and plenty more as well. Let's start this off by saying Gods is great. The adventures with Wynn, the sarcasm of his sidekick, the love for his wife, the sheer scale of this comic is so awesome. The story and this art in this issue are so compelling. And unlike Transformers, where it was a lot of talking to kind of set up what was going on, Gods did a good job of showing the exposition rather than telling us. Gods number 1 is an 8.5 out of 10. I strongly recommend picking it up. Ignore the price point. Ranger Academy 1, written by Maria Ingrate Mora with art by Joe Mi Guillon and Fabiana Mascolo. Now, the writer of this series is known for her work on young adult fiction, while Mi Guillon works a lot with Boom Studios, especially on Power Rangers, Eve, Beast Worlds, Dark Crystal, and Mascolo's work can be found in Cyberpunk 2077 Blackout, as well as plenty other Italian publications, so check out her work. When a couple of Power Ranger cadets land on Sage's planet, her entire world is flipped upside down. There are kids like her who are attending school to become a ranger, not that she knows what that is, and do good in the world. A smuggling escape, a dad with his own mysteries, plus a Harry Potter style school for Power Rangers. I liked this book a lot. Now, it has the signature Boom style art, the story is compelling. Rangers Academy number 1 is an 8 out of 10. The Plot Holes number 2, written by Sean Gordon Murphy with art by Sean Gordon Murphy, Matt Hollingsworth, and Dave Stewart. In this issue, the plot holes work to stop the bookworm from tearing through a bunch of books. However, Cliff fails miserably. Plenty of character backstories are revealed, and we finally are delving into the mystery of Ed. The art is definitely all Murphy's style, as is the storytelling, and as this story is actually starting to come together and make a little bit more sense, the Plot Holes number 2 is a 7.5 out of 10. Blue Beetle number 2, written by Josh Trujillo, art by Adrian Gutierrez and Will Quintana. Jaime struggles with the attack on Ted, while Zamora and Roma and the Breach are actually attacked by the Red Beetle. Jaime shows up to save the day, but the Red Beetle says no, not yet. And while there are traces of magic, Jaime now knows he needs to go to his ex for help. This issue breathed a little better because it didn't have the burden of doing all the exposition of issue number 1. Blue Beetle number 2 is an 8 out of 10. Birds of Prey number 2, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Leonardo Romero and Jordi Belair. Why Sin is being held on Themyscira is sort of revealed. However, there's way too much talking in this issue, as well as we get the team's first fight, but it's a really convoluted way to get there. Now, there are interesting threads to follow in this series, so it is worth reading. The retro fade on the art is growing on me, but let's get the plot going. Birds of Prey number 2 is a 7.5 out of 10. The Sacrificers number 3, written by Rick Remender with art by Max Fumora and Dave McKay. The relationships of the gods are explored way more closely in this issue, both with humor and with seriousness. The kids are being given joyful experiences in this issue, but the reason for it is finally revealed. Brutal and mysterious, with very, very detailed art, The Sacrificers number 3 is a 7.5 out of 10. Shazam number 4, written by Mark Waid and Dan Morrow, with art by Alejandro Sanchez and Troy Pettery. The gods are still arguing about how to deal with Billy. Zeus tries to seduce Queen Bee, while Solomon tells Freddy that the gods are out of control, and Billy does everything he can to avoid his first kiss. This series is fun and wild. It's got spectacular art. Shazam number 4 is an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely pull this series. 007 for King and Country number 5, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Giorgio Spalletta, Alessio Avalone, and Claudio Giuliani. 009 busts in on Agent Clark and Bond and shoots Agent Clark right in the head. Bond accuses him of working for Fromm, but it turns out he's actually working for Gann. Myrmidon, Fromm, MI6, CIA, Bond, Gann, everybody is careening towards the most explosive finale in 007 history. The art can be choppy at times and the story somewhat predictable, but predictable done well is still a good thing. 007 for King Country number 5 is a 7.5 out of 10. The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing number 11, written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Carmen D. Giandomenico with Romulo Fajardo Jr. I can never say these artists' names right, so I do apologize because the art is phenomenal in this book. In this issue, the two Jokers are tearing through Gotham trying to get to one another. Red Hood, Ravager, and Manhunter are all working to try to find the real Joker, but who is John Kaiser and who is the real Joker? Since returning to Gotham, this series has dragged some. It still has astounding art and it still has a good story. However, this is a classic TV issue where you're taking 12 episodes to do something you should have used 10 for. This series would be served better by being 10 issues than 12. I know they don't do that in comics. Don't kill me for it. Joker number 11 is a 7.5 out of 10. Poison Ivy number 15, written by G. Willow Wilson with art by Marcio Takara and Arif Prianto. In this issue, Ivy battles Undyne and his Green Steel with the help of Killer Croc. She keeps taking in toxins that are surely going to affect her in the long run, but after getting rid of Undyne, Croc does give her Slaughter Swamp, but not without the warning that not everybody's going to want Ivy there. It's an interesting story. It's some of my favorite art. Poison Ivy is what got me back into ongoing series. Poison Ivy number 15 is an 8 out of 10. And last but not least is Peacemaker Tries Hard number 6. Last but not least because Peacemaker Tries Hard is over. Peacemaker Tries Hard, written by Kyle Starks with art by Steve Pugh and Jordi Belair. In this series, Peacemaker's great at killing things, but he longs unconditional love and friendship. Luckily, he finds it in the form of Bruce Wayne, his dog. However, Brain and Monsieur Mala kidnap Bruce Wayne, leaving Chris hell-bent on finding his dog and friendship along the way. He ends up teaming with his parole officer, Red B, and his B, Michael, in order to take down Mala and Brain. Multiple deaths, a fusing of Chemo and Brain, plus the War Wheel is involved. The ending has it all. Also, you can see here, Deathstroke shows up. Deathstroke actually shows up in multiple forms, and one of those is actually super hilarious. The art is phenomenal, and it hits the humor and the action and everything just coalesce into a great comic book. In this series, Chris is a man with a well-intentioned heart. He's super funny. He's looking for friendship. This comic book has it all. Peacemaker Tries Hard number 6. Peacemaker Tries Hard as a series is a 9 out of 10. Definitely pick it up. It's one of my favorite books. So funny, so well done. Check it out. DC's Halloween issue, Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun. The Question in A Look to Die For, written by Alan Tremiti with art, colors, and letters by Tyler Crook. In this story, Renee Montoya is the Question, and she actually battles Gentleman Ghost and Professor Pig. Now, this story is pretty funny, as well as the art's pretty good, 7.5 out of 10. Green Lantern in The Shadow Over Coast City, written by Kenny Porter with art by Riley Rossmo and colors by Ivan Placencia. In this story, Green Lantern and Etrigan battle a demon, but the story is meh and the art is meh. 5 out of 10. Animal Man in This Day Anything Goes, written by Michael W. Conrad with art by Christopher Mitten and colors by Ivan Placencia. This is actually a story about Animal Man's daughter and how she's bullied at school for being different and weird. However, she uses her own powers to kind of get revenge and find a new friend in the process. I wasn't the biggest fan of the art, but the story is an 8 out of 10. Nightwing in The Dark Bite, written by Christopher Sean and Linnea with art by Dexter Boy and colors by Veronica Gandini. In this story, Nightwing teams up with Red Hood to figure out who attacked his neighbor or what. The art in this story was actually super well done, as well as the team up super fun. 8.5 out of 10 for the Nightwing story. Superman in The Spoils, written by Gregory Burnham with art and colors by Javier Rodriguez. In this story, Superman investigates a haunted prison where the warden actually moonlighted as a serial killer. It's creepy, it's intriguing, it's an 8 out of 10.
Next is Robot Man in Not Fade Away, written by Alex Gaylor with art by Fabio Veras and colors by John.
In this story, Robot Man is haunted by the failures of Doom Patrol past. He turns to Constantine to try to get rid of the baggage or the ghost, and Constantine ends up giving him some sobering advice. This is actually a great story about tragic loss. Robot Man's story is an 8.5 out of 10.
Crushin' Lobo in Happy Halloween, written by Adam F. Goldberg and Hans Rodenoff with art by Danny Earls and colors by Patricio Del Pecci.
In this story, Lobo gets invited to a Halloween party and wants Crush to help him pick out a costume. They end up cycling through a bunch of different Hugh Jackman options before landing on Aquaman. However, as he's headed to the party, King Shark attacks him, believing him to be Aquaman, while Crush and her girlfriend watch on with popcorn. Crush and Lobo's Happy Halloween is an 8.5 out of 10.
Last is Manbat in Out of the Shadows, written by John Arcudi, art by Sean McManus, and colors by Dave Stewart.
In this story, Rose Costa, an old lady, goes out to try to be saved by Batman. However, she ends up running into Kirk Langstrom battling a werewolf. Kirk ends up taking down the werewolf, but is extremely hurt in the process, which leads Rose to make a tourniquet for him and save his life. Thus, she becomes the hero. The Man-Bat story is an 8 out of 10. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for October 4th. We got a big week coming next week on the 11th. Now note that we changed the name of the channel. It's This Week in Entertainment. Starting next week, there will be a sister show called This Week in Entertainment to go along with This Week in Comics, to touch in on TVs, movies, all things pop culture. Remember, I'm your host, Dustin Dry. Please like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing is the easiest way to get it, but now if you search This Week in Entertainment, you should be able to find it as well. This was a glorious week of comics. Now remember, I'm your bumbling guy, Dustin Dry. I get it wrong just as much as I get it right. This is This Week in Comics. It's part of the This Week in Entertainment umbrella. Remember to support your local comic shops, Mega City 2 in Bakersfield, California. But let's fade to black. Hit the music.